Everyone remembers Robin Williams for the laughter. He was the man who could step into any room and turn silence into applause, sorrow into joy. But for Sally Field, her memories of working with him carry something deeper, moments of sensitivity, empathy, and compassion that were rarely seen by the public. On the set of Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, what she experienced changed the way she remembered her co-star forever. What exactly did she witness, and why did it leave such a lasting impact? The beginning of an unlikely partnership came when Mrs. Doubtfire entered production in 1993. Sally Field was already one of Hollywood's most respected actresses. With 2 Academy Awards under her belt, she was known for her serious dramatic roles, her discipline, and her ability to bring emotional truth to the screen. Robin Williams, on the other hand, was famous for his relentless energy, improvisational genius, and unmatched ability to make people laugh. The two might have seemed like an unlikely pairing, but that contrast made their collaboration extraordinary. The film told the story of Daniel Hillard, a father so desperate to remain close to his children after divorce that he disguises himself as a Scottish nanny. Williams played the lead role, while Field portrayed Miranda Hillard, his ex-wife navigating the painful realities of separation and single parenthood. Although the premise was comedic, beneath the humor was a deep exploration of family, responsibility, and the cost of broken relationships. For the film to succeed, it needed both levity and emotional weight, qualities that Williams and Field brought together in remarkable harmony. From the first days on set, Sally Field noticed Robin's unusual rhythm. He would perform several takes exactly as written, carefully following the script. Then, without warning, he would suddenly burst into improvisation, voices, gestures, and one-liners no one expected. It could have overwhelmed many co-stars, but Field adapted instead of resisting. She matched his energy with her own steadiness, allowing her character to respond naturally. That contrast became the foundation of their on-screen chemistry. Director Chris Columbus recognized the magic immediately. Williams was impossible to contain, so Columbus arranged multiple cameras to capture every unpredictable moment. What could have become chaos instead turned into a kind of dance, Robin's wild energy balanced by Sally's grounded presence. Field later reflected, working with Robin was like catching lightning in a bottle. You never knew what was coming next, but you knew it was going to be brilliant. The set of Mrs. Doubtfire was usually filled with laughter, but during production Sally Field experienced one of the darkest moments of her life. While preparing to film the emotionally intense courtroom scene, she received devastating news. Her father, who had suffered health problems for years after a stroke, had passed away. The loss was sudden and crushing. Field was a consummate professional who believed the work had to continue no matter what. She returned to the set trying to maintain her composure, hiding her grief beneath discipline and professionalism. She wasn't crying or breaking down, but Robin Williams noticed something others missed. Quietly observing her, he sensed something was wrong. He gently approached and asked, "Are you okay?" At first she tried to avoid the truth, but eventually admitted, "My father just passed." In that instant, Robin's expression changed completely. Without hesitation, he insisted she leave the set and be with her family. Using his influence as both the film's star and producer, he spoke directly to Chris Columbus and demanded the schedule be rearranged. "We'll shoot around Sally today," he said firmly. And that is exactly what happened. The cast and crew adjusted while Field went home to grieve and make arrangements with her brother. Years later, Sally said this moment revealed the side of Robin few people ever saw, a man deeply intuitive, compassionate, and quick to help whenever someone needed him. "It's a side of Robin that people rarely knew," she recalled. "He was very sensitive and intuitive, protecting the vulnerable." Robin Williams' compassion extended beyond established co-stars to the youngest and most vulnerable people around him. One clear example involved Lisa Jacob, who at only 14 years old played Lydia, the eldest daughter in Mrs. Doubtfire. Lisa was a Canadian teenager balancing school and acting. 2 months into filming, her high school informed her the arrangement was unacceptable and told her not to return. For a teenager who already felt different from her peers, the rejection was devastating. She later explained that school had been her only sense of normalcy, and losing it felt like losing her balance. Robin Williams noticed her distress. Unlike many adults in Hollywood who might have ignored a child actor's struggles, he listened carefully and took action. He personally wrote a heartfelt letter to her principal explaining that Lisa was trying to continue her education while working, and he urged the school to reconsider its decision. He asked them to support her rather than punish her for the unusual path her career required. The principal framed the letter and displayed it in the office, but never changed the decision. Lisa still could not return to school. Even so, Robin's gesture meant everything to her. Decades later, Lisa publicly remembered the incident and said Robin's empathy made her feel seen and valued at a time when she felt isolated. "It was just amazing," she said. "He didn't have to do that. But he cared enough to try." For Sally Field, hearing this story only confirmed what she already believed: Robin Williams was far more than a comedian. He could recognize pain in others, whether in a grieving actress or a teenager losing her place at school, and respond with genuine kindness. This pattern revealed the consistency of his character. He wasn't only funny on screen, he was deeply humane behind it. Protecting vulnerable people was not an act. It was simply who he was. For audiences worldwide, Mrs. Doubtfire became one of Robin Williams' most beloved performances, a comedy balancing laughter with the painful realities of divorce and family separation. But while audiences remember the disguises, slapstick comedy, and unforgettable one-liners, those who worked on the film remembered something different: Robin Williams' kindness. To Sally Field, that kindness mattered more than the comedy itself. Robin never behaved as though the set revolved around him, despite being the unquestionable star. He understood the exhaustion of long filming days and consistently tried to make things easier for others. Crew members later recalled how he learned people's names, asked about their lives, and regularly checked in on them. During lunch breaks, instead of isolating himself, he sat with crew members, joking with grips and electricians or speaking with makeup artists about their families. He had a remarkable ability to make people feel seen regardless of their role. In an industry where technicians could easily feel invisible, Robin reminded them that they mattered. This generosity also shaped his partnership with Sally Field. On screen, Miranda and Daniel Hillard often clashed, but off-screen their relationship was built on mutual respect. Robin admired Sally's steadiness and emotional grounding, while Sally admired Robin's fearless creativity and endless imagination. Rather than competing for attention, they complemented each other perfectly, creating scenes stronger than what was originally written. Chris Columbus later emphasized how essential their chemistry was to the film's success. Robin's chaotic brilliance could have overwhelmed the emotional core of the story, but Sally's calm presence anchored it in reality. Columbus often used multiple cameras to capture Robin's improvisation while allowing Sally to maintain the emotional thread. That balance between unpredictability and poise gave Mrs. Doubtfire both its comedy and its heart. For Sally, the memories remained vivid decades later. What stayed with her most was not Robin's ad-libs, but the humanity behind them. He made people laugh, but he also made them feel important. Every day on set carried a warmth that transformed coworkers into friends and a film production into a kind of family. That was Robin Williams' true legacy, a kindness so constant it became the heartbeat of the set, invisible to audiences but unforgettable to everyone who experienced it. By the early 2000s, Robin Williams' public image remained that of a beloved comic genius, but privately his health was deteriorating. In 2013 he had remarried and continued working steadily, though signs of unease had begun to appear. His television series The Crazy Ones was cancelled after one season in 2014, which was difficult for someone who had spent decades thriving in entertainment. At the same time, he struggled with personal changes and lingering sadness from past divorces. In May 2014, doctors diagnosed him with Parkinson's disease. For a performer whose career depended on quick thinking, physical agility, and sharp wit, the idea of losing control over his mind and body was terrifying. Parkinson's disease is associated with tremors, stiffness, and memory problems, symptoms that directly threaten the abilities Robin valued most. After his death, However, the truth proved even more tragic. An autopsy revealed he had actually been suffering from Lewy body dementia, a rare and aggressive brain disorder causing hallucinations, paranoia, depression, and cognitive decline. The disease is frequently misdiagnosed, and Robin himself did not fully understand what was happening to him. His wife, Susan Schneider, later described it as the terrorist inside my husband's brain, unpredictable and relentless. Those close to Robin noticed increasing anxiety, withdrawal, and memory lapses. For someone whose identity depended on spontaneity, the disease felt like a cruel betrayal. Even so, he rarely spoke publicly about his suffering. He continued smiling, joking, and working while fighting a battle few people could clearly see. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams died by suicide at his home in California. The news shocked the world and devastated friends like Sally Field. Tributes poured in immediately. Fans flooded social media with messages of grief and gratitude, while colleagues across Hollywood struggled to express the loss of a man whose presence had seemed so vibrant and permanent. For millions, it felt impossible to imagine a world without Robin Williams' humor, energy, and humanity. Former President Barack Obama released a heartfelt statement describing Robin as an airman, a doctor, a genie, and a nanny, referencing the unforgettable roles that had become cultural landmarks. His words captured what people around the world already felt, that Robin Williams' work had touched nearly every corner of human experience.